Hi everyone. It's been a minute. I'm Keisha Martin, and I am a teacher for energy healing and your spiritual guide for teaching you your unique gifts so that way you can be able to tap more into your intuition. So, I've been going through a lot of different changes and challenges with my spiritual path, and it's been a little crazy. Last week, I was helping a lot of folks, whether it was in person or over the phone. You know what I mean? And with that, it actually took me through some things. So there's times where, all right, so what it took me through was that I started to get sick myself. So I started to wonder what was going on with me. Like, am I all right? Am I doing too much? Am I not protecting myself? Am I not grounding correctly? Like, what type of challenges am I going through? Because I actually felt like I had the flu. It was really like lethargic. I had the chills, I had everything, but I knew it wasn't like a physical flu. So it was different than a normal sickness, so to speak. So, like, I had the similar symptoms, but it felt differently. So it was more like on the outside, like an energetic thing, more than an inside physical thing. If that makes any sense. If you've experienced this, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you might think I'm crazy, and that's fine. But it was a time for me to have to like really dig in and find a way to um, heal myself. You know, uh, through that, I kept hearing I'm in an expansion. So I realized that I was expanding. I was going to be receiving information differently. I was going to be able to heal people differently, connect, and see things in a different light. And trying to find this balance was like really crazy because it was almost making me really fatigued where I couldn't stay up. And I'm like, well, I have to be productive. I still have to connect. At the same time, balancing the productivity into being well. Like, what exactly am I doing? You know what I mean? And part of my, own frustrations can kick in, like with the anxiety. Like, okay, well, if I don't get certain things done, what am I going to do? So it's like I had to reconnect, um, obey my body, and get back in. So why am I bringing this up? I'm doing this because I know if I'm going through this, other people are going through it, and it's challenging. The flu-like symptoms, you could be nausea, where you can have headaches, where you're feeling dizzy or angst. You also could be experiencing like sweaty palms, where you're like sweating just like you would have or perspiration, where you're feeling like when you have the flu, you're having the chills, the cold. Um, and these things are just like coming and going. That's another way you know that it's not a physical sickness where you're actually really sick and you need to see a doctor, but you actually are, it goes. So, like, you'll have moments where you're back to normal again, and then you're just like, you start to feel these things again. And I had to do some cleansing baths to assist me. I had to go into some meditations to, to release myself from things. So, important things that you have to know to do should you start to do energy work, should you start to go into, whether it's for yourself or helping other people, is one, ensure before you start that you're grounding and protecting yourself at all times. That with this protection that you are envisioning, whether it's a white light or some level of protection, so that way, whoever you're healing or whatever protection, whatever you're assisting them with, it's not coming back at you, or the things around them aren't there to harm you. Okay, so that's step one. Always protect yourself, always ground yourself. Two, when you're done, making sure that you're disconnecting the same way. So you're disconnecting in a way where you're disconnecting both of your energies from each other, so that way you're no longer connected to theirs, they're no longer connected to yours, and you're actually able to center and reground yourself and reprotect yourself all over again. Okay, that is very essential, whether you're doing it via the phone, distance healing, in person, whichever the case may be. It's essential that you're um, cutting ties with these people. Um, Three, obeying your body when it needs the rest. When you're getting into this line of work, it is work, first of all, and you are expelling energy, and it's important that you grant yourself that opportunity to recharge, reconnect, and do what's best for you. All right. Um, Four, drinking plenty of water. Because you're doing this energy work, it's important that you rehydrate yourself and replenish your body, so that way it can be able to be back to where it's supposed to be. Go back to normal, so to speak. So after, so what would we say? We said grounding, disconnecting, meditating, and drinking fluids. All right. If things like that are still a challenge for you, what I have also found to be very helpful, and it's because I was listening, because at one point I was like, am I even connected anymore? I'm receiving messages differently. It's just crazy. I was starting to like, have my self doubts, which if you're going through this process, because you're shedding and you're growing, you're going to go through these levels of doubts. All right. So I started to wonder, and then as I started to wonder, it's always good, like, when you hear things that says, surround yourself with quality people, or people like yourselves, or you're the average of the five people that you hang out with. That is so true. So you have to find like a spiritual team that you can be able to relate with and grow with, and people that are supportive of who you are, in this light. If you're going through your journey where you're shedding friends, or they're not unrelatable to you, keep keep asking to separate the people that don't belong in your life, so that way you can get the new ones that are going to come into your life, so you can have this team. Because I did go at it alone for a long, long time. Most of it. I've had some people come in and out and help me, and that's fine. They were here for those moments to share in the experiences and help me stretch past to where I needed to be. So with that, I had someone who was able to say, let's try the baths. So I was guided to call this person. They were able to give me this, and I went out to the store to go buy certain things for my bath. And one of the things was I was being led to were these oils. I kept seeing this one oil, and I'll do a whole segment just on this oil, because I couldn't believe how much it was speaking to me. Because one of the other symptoms that I was going through, outside of like the nausea, the headaches, and things like that, and the flu-like symptoms, is, and the energy was getting stuck. Like literally, I can feel it like stuck in parts of my body. Like I would feel like a glitch, like in the back of my neck right here, or I would feel like a knot like here or somewhere in my body. And it was stuck. And then I'd work on myself to move it through. But sometimes when you're going through so many things, it's hard, for you to grasp everything the way you want to. So I found this one oil. It was actually a castor oil, and I was able to apply that in new spaces. I just followed what my intuition was telling me to do, and it would help relieve that stuckness that I was having, the energy that I was having. Okay. And it was able to start allowing things to flow through again, because as you're expanding, as you're growing, things do, it has to go through the gambit. And if you're having blockages, whether it's a mental thought, or the way self-limiting beliefs, or things that experiences have taught you of how you should be, it can limit you, and create blockages throughout your body. And the energy that's trying to expand you will get like kind of caught in places. So then you have to do like these healing and these releases to let yourself um, be clear again. All right. So with the bats, I was able to, put some things in there to be able to give me like a real true spiritual bath, and it helped me immensely. Okay. So that, make sure you're doing these things. All right. After you're meditating and other stuff, you're clearing yourself off, and creating a space for yourself, whether you're using some level of essential oil, or you're using a bath to help clear and protect your energy to recharge you. All right. I just really wanted to share that with you. Um, the last step was actually today, which is why I finally feel like back to me and I feel great again. Was I felt guided to be out in nature, and thankfully it was like 65 degrees today, and it was awesome. It was like for the middle of winter, it felt great to be outside and be out in nature, be out and hike through the woods, and actually put my feet in the water. It was cold, But that shock and being able to meditate in this in the sun, having that hit me and putting my feet in the water, it recharged me, it rejuvenated me, and being able to transfer energy with a friend, and both of us being able to meditate in this environment together, it was completely rejuvenating, you know. It's like I seen something and then here it was, and it was exactly what I needed. So always follow your intuition, follow the healings, even when sometimes it may not really make sense, you know. Like today's experience was, I knew I wanted to get out, I knew I wanted to go to a park, and I knew I wanted to get work done. And I followed the intuition, and part of me said, I was sitting right in the middle lane, and I was like, "Oh, right to go to the park." I don't know, and honestly, I don't even know if there was a park to the right. I figured the state I live in, there's parks everywhere, so I'll find one. I just know I needed to be near water, and then I said, "Or should I turn left and go to Panera Bread and see if I can get some work done?" And I sat in the lane as I was driving. And I said, "Go left," and I just said, "Okay." I made a U-turn, went to Panera Bread, and I saw the seat that I wanted to sit in, but then there's this guy sitting in the seat next to me, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want to invade his space, so I sit somewhere else. Then I'm like, I really don't want to sit here, I want to sit there. And I was like, well, why am I not going to sit there? Is it fear? And I was like, bump fear. I'm not going to do fear. So I rolled out, picked up my stuff, and sat right in front of him. So I sit in front of the dude, and we met eye contact a couple times. Like he looked at me walking in, and I looked back at him, but I didn't want to invade his space, and I'm sure I didn't think that gather he wanted anybody in his space, but he wasn't mean or anything like that. Long story short, I go to sit down right in front of him, and then I see the guy who usually helps me, a friend of mine who usually helps me with my videos when I'm producing here, show up, and it was just like, oh wow, and he knows the person sitting right in front of me, and then we just had like this spiritual meeting. So you just never know how life is going to work out. And right from there, I told them how I was making the decision to come here or go to the park, and he was like, "Oh, were you going to go to this one park?" And he names it, um, and I was like, "I don't know. I was going to go this way." So we both had that connection of wanting to do the same exact things, and we both had like this energetic need. You know, I ended up doing healing work and helping him remove the blockages. And I just went from what I'm being taught on my own, you know, and it was refreshing. And then we both went through these methodologies together. And I want to have him on the show so that we could do it. And he actually videoed when we our first interaction, and it'd be exciting to be able to share that with you guys. So follow your intuition, because as you're growing spiritually and as you're shedding people, and trust and believe new people are going to come in, and they are going to be your soul family, and it may be a one-time interaction as well as it may be a multitude of interactions. The thing is, you have to learn to love and embrace all of it and grow through the experiences, and learn to allow things to flow, and allow yourself to move through with things, and try not to think too much about it as you're going through these experiences. Okay, so energetic flu, if you're going through it, make sure you follow the steps in the beginning, so that way you're grounding and protecting yourself and releasing yourself from those energies. Two, anytime you're feeling stuck, making sure that you're taking your baths, you're taking your protections, you're praying, and you're protecting, you're doing your protections over your body. Three, um, be out in nature, connect, take your shoes off, even if it's cold outside, put your feet in the earth and reconnect yourself. You know what I mean? Take some time out to just be a part and be one with who you are, so that way you can really and truly connect on the inside and be intuitive with the things you need to be aware of. All right. So this is Keisha, the teacher, helping you once again, and I am very pleased and happy to be able to share this with you. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to lay them down in the bottom of the comments here. If you know someone who may be going through some of this stuff, or that this may help, feel free to share it with them. If you're looking for more helpful tips, I have a blog. It's free, and you can just check it out. I have a newsletter. I send out helpful tips once a week, just to kind of get you going. And it will be beneficial for your spiritual growth, or if you're just trying to grow your intuition so that way you can be fully developed to who you need to be. All right. Once again, Keisha Martin, and I look forward to seeing you. Subscribe to the channel so you can always see another video. Bye.